Check, check. Check. All right. Welcome, everyone, to the opening ceremonies of the 2023 PDGA Pro World Championship. How about a big round of applause? You've all done a lot to get here. My name is Jeff Spring. I am the tournament director. We've got a nice meeting agenda bringing up a lot of the luminaries that have made this event possible. And I just want to start with this welcome and overview and let you know a little bit of my motivation. I've been in environmental education for a long time, and it led me to disc golf. And I think that connecting people with the land and the environment and the outdoors is really important. And through my time in disc golf, I've noticed that a lot of people are inspired to get outside by this group of people, whether it be the pros or just the community that is built up around disc golf. And that's my driving and motivating factor that brought me to this beautiful place, Smuggler's Notch Resort, that allowed us to develop the disc golf courses, led on by our owner, Bill Stritzler of the resort, and the support of the entire staff here. And I just would like to take some time to reflect on that driving force behind my own pursuit and journey in disc golf. And at a big moment like this, where it's important to so many players to be here and be celebrating, I suggest that everyone take a look at what motivates you and enjoy this week. We've got a great week of activities planned for you. We're going to talk a little bit about the event schedule as we go along, but we're going to try to keep it brief and short. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome Grant Zellner of the PDGA. Give it up for Grant.
Validating disc golf as a global phenomenon and the PDGA as the worldwide governing body of the sport, we are pleased to welcome 293 athletes to Jeffersonville, Vermont this year, representing 12 countries, 3 Canadian provinces, and 43 U.S. states. And now, our Parade of Nations. Canada. The Czech Republic. Estonia. Finland. Iceland. Japan. Norway. Sweden. Switzerland. The United Kingdom. And the United States of America. And now please rise for the national anthem of our host country, the United States of America, to be sung this evening by Lori Tull.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
How about one more big round of applause for our country representatives and Lori. Next, it is my distinct honor to welcome the owner of Smuggler's Notch Resort and one of the central factors in the development of the Disc Golf Center. Please put your hands together for Bill Stritzler.
Thanks, Jeff. As I'm looking out over this audience, I was wondering how many of you were here 5 years ago when we ran this tournament? Raise your hands. Well, a number of you were here. It just shows what a vital sport you're involved in when so many new people are joining. I can tell you Smugglers is really thrilled to have you here again. We're very proud that you've selected Smugglers. And we, as I think you should feel from every employee you run into, we really respect you as professional athletes. So it's especially great for us to be able to welcome you here. Those of you who were here 5 years ago know that about on this equivalent day, about 3 in the afternoon, Jeff came to me and he said, "Oh, by the way, you're throwing out the first disc." He knew I'd never had a disc in my hands in my life. So I said, "I don't think so, Jeff." He said, "I already got you on the program, throwing out the first disc." Okay, Jeff. So I was thinking, how am I ever going to do this? So I went up to the practice area, and there were some guys up there practicing. And I walked up to one of them. Jeff probably knows who it was. And I said, "Is there any way you guys can take a moment from your practice and show me how the heck to hold this disc and how to throw it? I'm supposed to throw the first disc." So without any further explanation, I have a little film to show you the outcome. Jeff, now it's a short film, so you have to pay attention to it. Here I am. Now look at the audience. Once more. I love the effect of the audience. I just want you to know that the first disc of the 2023 tournament has now been thrown. That Jeff wanted me to do it again, and I said, "No, my dad taught me, quit while you're ahead." So that's the official throw of that disc. So there are a lot of people to thank. Thank you, Jeff, for everything that you do. Those of you who do or do not know our story, Jeff and I met accidentally at the end of a winter season party. We just walked up to him. I didn't know who he was. I asked him what he did and what he does in the summertime. He said, well, I play golf, and I really like the sport, disc golf. And I said, what is disc golf? And he said, well, you should learn more about it, Bill. That was, I think, 9 years ago. And from that has grown into what we are here today. So thank you, Jeff, for getting us started on this track. Very much thanks to the PDGA for bringing the tournament here. Thank you to L.L.Bean for your great sponsorship. But most importantly, I have to publicly thank the Smugs team for all the work they put into making this event happen, and especially Nick Overwich, who's here. Nick is here. I think he's going to speak a little later on, but let's give that team a round of applause. Earlier, somebody said to me, can you tell us some more funny stories about Jeff? And I said, he used to really be funny. But now he's got this big, exalted responsibility, so he walks around with a serious face all the time. My real purpose in being here today is to introduce to you our guest speaker, Dick Dreisagacker. Oh, Dick Dreisagacker. Funny, he and I both have difficult last names. Mine is often mispronounced. It's Stritzler, not Streitzler. And it's Dreisagacker, not Dreisagacker. So we have that in common. We also are owners of local businesses, and they are independent businesses. So that in itself is a little unusual. But how did we decide that Dick should be your guest speaker tonight? Well, 5 years ago, we had the Lieutenant Governor here. Those of you who were here then may remember. And at dinner, I said to him, now there's only one word that you cannot speak in front of this audience. You all know what that word is. It starts with the letters FR. I said, do not say that word. So in the first minute and a half of his speech, he said it twice. He is not tonight's speaker. We also could have invited the governor, who would have come. And he's a great governor. He's the most popular governor in the United States by vote. He gets more votes from Vermonters than any other governor in the country. He's a really good person. And he would have been happy to come here tonight, but he would have been forced to act like a politician. And I didn't think that we needed a politician, that we needed someone who could really make a contribution to the event. And so Dick came to mind. He and I share a board and some community work together. And he's in a very unique position of being able to speak to you from the perspective of someone who took his love of his sport, rowing, and turned it into a worldwide business. Every one of the flags you saw, his company does business in that country, and many others. So he parlayed this love of sport into this great worldwide business. And I thought that you might really be interested in hearing how he did that, because my guess is many of you who obviously love your sport someday might like to parlay it into a business that's related to the sport. So let me tell you a little more about Dick. He's a former American Olympic rower. He represented the United States in the 1972 Summer Olympics. He earned a Master of Science degree from Stanford, where he coached rowing. And at that time, he also introduced his brother Pete to the sport. What's important about that is that he and his brother then formed this partnership to build the company called today A Concept 2. He'll explain to you how that happened. But another component of Dick's life that I really enjoy talking about is that he met his wife Julia through the sport, married her. She keeps her maiden name Gear, which, Dick, it's understandable given the difficulty of dry cigar. No. Actually, I can say it. And she was an Olympic rower. And she rowed in the 76 and the 84 Olympics. And your sister-in-law won a silver medal in single sculls in the 84 Olympics. And your two daughters are Olympians, Hannah and Emily. They compete as biathletes. And they competed in the 2014 and the 2018 Winter Olympics. Now, what's important about that, it gives you some idea of the family commitment to excellence in everything that they do. And that of course, starts with the parents who, my guess is, impresses their children with the importance of being competitive. What's really important to me, however, in this introduction is not to talk so much about the accomplishments of the company and Dick's personal accomplishments. But I think the real measure of a person is how they conduct their lives. And when you run a big business like he does, how you conduct your life as manifested by your behavior in that business. So let me tell you what the Concept 2 business believes in. They strive to design, manufacture, sell, and service unique products of the highest quality and value for the benefits of the Concept 2 community, our customers, employees, suppliers, and neighbors. They're committed to equal opportunity for all, and they're committed to creating a positive, healthy culture that fosters both individual initiative and teamwork. That's so important in running a business today, and a lot more difficult to achieve than you might otherwise think. And their employees take pride in their work. But perhaps more telling, and what really impressed me that I wanted to share with you, is where they choose to make their contributions. So they earn from the business of Concept 2, but they don't keep all of that in-house. They make contributions, and where they make it really is the story of Dick and what he believes in. So here's a list. They invest in schools and child care centers. They invest in organizations that are focused on land conservation. They invest in groups working towards racial equity and gender equity and social justice. Racial equity, gender equity, and social justice, and they're proud of it. And they publish that that's where they focus their investment. They focus on sustainable agriculture, climate issues, and they focus on bringing arts to the local Vermont communities. Not surprisingly, youth sports organizations and teams, local fire departments, rescue squads, libraries, and food shelves. So Concept 2 strives to play a significant role in making the sport welcome to diverse and underserved populations. They support boathouses, teams, and organizations through their Pulling Together program. So they're making a contribution to the future of the sport. They make a contribution to their community. And that's, in my view, that's the real measure of a person living their lives in a way that represents their true feelings and their true commitment to the world around them. So it's with great pleasure that I now can introduce to you, Richard, please come forward. So for the record, this is Dick Dragasecker.
Thanks, Bill. So I have a few notes. I should know the story pretty well. I shouldn't really need notes, but this is my security blanket, which reminds me, it's kind of like my 3-year-old granddaughter with her security blanket. And my wife Judy was going to come, but she's taking care of her right now, this evening. Well, it brings to mind one thing. It's not. It's probably good advice to and a good thing to marry someone who's in your sport. I would advise it. And not only that, you should pick someone who's faster, more skilled, and better than you are, because it'll up your game too. But anyway, what I'd like to talk about are, well, in thinking about disc golf and rowing, they're very different sports, obviously, but there's a lot of similarities. There's this sort of life cycle of an athlete in a sport, you know, sort of the development and reaching a peak in the sport, and then having to decide what to do next. You know, the transition from someone who has reached the peak of the sport, what do you do next? And that's a little bit of the, you know, the issues that I had to grapple with back in the 1970s. There were several times when I thought I was just gonna, I'd be done with the sport, I was gonna go off and do something else. And so I think it may pertain, this whole story may pertain to other people here. The other similarities of the two sports is I think the community that's within the sports, a very tight community. People know each other, they're competing as friends, etc. And it is a lifelong sport. Rowing's a lifelong sport. I was out in my single at 6 o'clock this morning on Hosmer Lake. It's a sport you can do, you know, well into your 70s, 80s, and I think that's probably the case with disc golf as well. So the idea of transitions, I think I'll just sort of tell the story about how my brother and I, how I got into rowing, and the various transition periods and the various forks in the road where I chose one route rather than another, and then you know, talk about the sort of growth of Concept 2 and whatnot. So I started rowing in college in 1965. I graduated from college, and I thought, well, that's it. And, you know, people row at college, and they graduate, and they go out, get a job, and that's it. But I happened to get a job in Philadelphia, which is a big rowing center on the Schuylkill River, and I knew some friends that I had rowed against in college, and they convinced me to come to this rowing club, Vesper Rowing Club, and row with them. And we wound up rowing for several years on national teams, and eventually in the 1972 Olympics. But my experience in the Olympics was a little bit disappointing. We didn't do as well as we should have, and I was kind of frustrated. I said, okay, that's it. I'm not gonna row anymore. I'm gonna go be a ski bum in Colorado. So I did that for a year, and I got sort of a little frustrated with that because I felt like I was kind of wasting away a bit. And a friend of mine said, well, I need an assistant coach at Stanford, because he was coaching there, a guy I rowed with before in Philly. And he said, why don't you come out there? And I said, okay, yeah, that sounds good. And so I went out there and I coached for several years, 3 years there, got my master's degree. And the master's degree I got was actually in industrial engineering, which is, it has a lot of aspects about business and starting a business and business plan making and whatnot. And also at the same time, my brother was out there. He had finished up his degree in product design. So we kind of got together. We kind of reunited. He was 4 years younger than I was. And he had never really rowed before, but I got him rowing when I was out there. And so we rowed a pair together, and I don't know if anyone's familiar with the boats. A pair, one person has an oar on one side of the boat, and the other person has an oar on the other side of the boat. And the boat's about this wide. And you have to work together. And if one person pulls a little bit higher than the other, the boat tips. If when you push your hands away for the next stroke, if they're not at the same level, the boat tips this way and that way. Everything has to be perfectly together. The reason I bring that up is because as partners in the business, we've worked very well together, and I somehow think it was perhaps going to happen anyway, but rowing that pair together kind of cements that sort of teamwork, the power of two. So we had tried out for the '76 Olympics, but didn't quite make it. So we said, at the meantime, we were talking about, we had made some special oars for the trials. And we had this idea that we could start a business based on making a new design or a new way of making oars. It turns out that boats were starting to switch from wood to composite materials at that time, but oars were still wood. And both of us had taken this course at Stanford. It was an invention course. It was called, it was called Inventions. And the professor there said you should really look for gaps in the technology or the needs that aren't served. You shouldn't just follow what's already out there, unless there's a gap in what's out there, maybe missing something, so you're going to try to fill that missing gap, not just copy. So we thought, okay, this is perfect, we'll make the oars. We made them in our second-story apartment over this Tar and Feathers saloon on El Camino in Palo Alto, if you know the place at all. And unbeknownst to us, at the same time, in a garage in the next town over, a couple of guys were putting together a computer, a personal computer that was Apple, Steve Jobs and I forgot the other guy, Wozniak. And they were doing it in a garage there. So I looked up the start of Apple, and I realized, those guys were in there at the same time we were making our prototype oars in the kitchen of our apartment above the Tar and Feathers. And it turns out, when I was sort of researching this, he said, well, the garage, Steve Jobs' garage, is on the historic register in California. I don't think the second floor of the Tar and Feathers is going to be on the historic register, which was just as good for us. We wanted to sort of fly low under the radar. We weren't interested in making a big splash. So pretty quickly we decided, well, where are we going to go? We got to get out of Silicon Valley. It's just too expensive and too big. We can't do it here. So we wound up looking over the country and wound up buying this old dilapidated barn in Morrisville on Route 100, just south of the center of Morrisville, and started making oars. That was our sort of first product. But the interesting takeaway there, well, the other thing is, when we moved to Morrisville, shortly after, we'd go to Burlington and get ice cream at an abandoned gas station, which was Ben & Jerry's. That was how they started, an abandoned gas station in downtown Burlington. So a lot of these companies, you can start small. It seems like nowadays everyone's got to go out and raise, $20 million before they can do anything. But then you sort of give up part of your business to the investors. And all the way through, we only grew within our means. And what happens is, if you grow too fast, that's when you need to raise money, because you have to pay bills before you get paid. So, and actually my father was worried about it. He said, well, are you guys going to make it? I could loan you some money. And he said, well, I really don't need the money. He said, oh, here. he gave us a check for $5,000, and he said, "Here, take it anyway in case you need it." So we took the check, but we didn't cash it. And as we were starting to build up our ore production, our checking count would go down, we get paid, but then it go down, and we got within inches of having to cash the $5,000 check, but we never did. We tore it up. And then from then on, we kept building and just kind of growing within our means. So some of the takeaways here. I think the master's degree, taking the master's degree at Stanford was good because it gave us confidence, or gave me confidence. You know, it took accounting, basic accounting stuff. This invention course was good. Business plan, how to make a business plan. It was good. And in fact, the business plan, my brother and I took that course together. And the business plan, we named the business Concept 2. And we had no idea it was a whole different idea, but which doesn't really pertain. But people ask us, well, what is the meaning of the name Concept 2? And it has a number of meanings. One is, you know, there were two of us. You know, two heads are better than one. You know, you can say that same thing about marrying someone who's in your sport and faster and more skilled than you are. But so that was one part. There were two of us. But the most important thing that I think we've lived by over the years is that, you know, don't just jump on the first idea you have. You know, if you try to generate lots of ideas or lots of solutions if you're facing a problem, and then evaluate those solutions and pick the best one, not just the first one. So the Concept 2 represents the second idea, or even the third or fourth or fifth, but we had to come up with some name instead of, you know, Dreisiak Brothers Ores, because no one could pronounce it. If you get on the phone trying to talk to some company to get sample materials, you got to have some name that sounds good. So, so anyway, yeah, let me see where we are here on the chronology. I think it's important to, there's different growth paths, and we had, you know, Concept 2, we just gradually expanded slowly. You had Apple Computer, which went through the roof, changed hands, went public, all that stuff. Ben & Jerry's, a little bit in between those two, but so the point there is there's a lot of different pathways to start your own business. And we just like the one that's a little bit lower profile and a little less risky. The other thing is that's good about starting a business around the sport that you're interested in is you know it well. And even if you want to get involved with a business that's not your sport, it's good that you really need to have expertise or passion about it. But I think everyone here probably has passion about their sport, so it becomes a logical it becomes a logical opportunity if you're so inclined. So after we got started in this barn, then it's a whole series of things, and I think Bill covered a lot of this stuff. It's a lot of, you know, you create this culture that works for you. You know, steady growth, taking care of your customers, giving your customers a product or service of high value, filling the gaps, look for things that are unique. That's why we have in our mission statement, you know, unique products. we had steady growth. We had improved products that we already had, which was another sort of concept two, that power of two thing. We often, if the first doors we have, we didn't improve them. They're, if I rode with them today, they were terrible. But they've improved steadily throughout the 45 years that we've been doing it. But I think taking care of your customers, employees, vendors, all that stuff is hugely important. So we gradually grew. We grew our markets. We grew our markets globally. Market segment the products when we started making the rowing machines. They gradually went into the fitness market. So we expanded that way. A lot of that stuff is a little more boring, but it's just the way. If you do it right, I think it'll all come together. But I think the important thing is the transition points and your decision points and the forks, the decisions you have to make at certain points in your career. When do if you're really focusing on your sport nearly full time, and at some point you've got to move on to the rest of your life. But if you include your sport in that, I feel very fortunate to be able to have built a business around a sport that I'm passionate in. One other thing is products that last. We have people that still use some of the first rowing machines that we made, and in some cases it's outlasted the people that originally bought them. But we still sell parts, or we have parts to fix them, and we tried to keep. They're almost like our. The products we sell almost like our offspring. We want to take care of them and make sure they last. With that, I think it's a good time to end the story. It was, again, I feel very fortunate and to be able to make a good living, out of the sport that I came to love and decided to stay into. That's where the forks in the life counted, where I opted always to come back to rowing as I went along, and it worked. So I wish everyone good luck in the competition coming up. And interestingly enough, I think this ends on the 3rd, that very day the World Rowing Championship starts in Serbia. So, it's all part of the whole idea of sports and community, and it's all good stuff. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dick. I think that it resonates with a lot of people in here, because a lot of our players here are already entrepreneurs and finding their own path in the business world of disc golf. So we really appreciate you coming, and thank you for speaking. Next up, we have PDGA Awards. I'm going to introduce Doug Bjerkes and Grant Zellner of the PDGA. Give it up for Doug and Grant.
Thanks for being here, everybody. My name is Doug Bjerkes. I'm the Director of Operations for the PDGA. This is Grant Zellner. He's the brand manager for PDGA, and he's also one of the co-hosts for PDGA Radio, the show on our website. We're going to kind of get through this pretty quick, and we are going to recognize the folks that have won awards this year. And instead of having everybody come up to the stage, we're just going to ask you to quickly stand. We'll give you a round of applause, and then afterwards, if we have a trophy for you, we'll have you come up and get that at the end of the show. The PDGA radio show. With that, I'll turn it over to Grant.
Rookie of the Year. PDGA professional class members playing in their first year in the mixed and women's Open Pro divisions are eligible for Rookie of the Year awards by earning points based on their place to finish in PDGA B tiers and above. Bonus points are earned by top 10 finishers in categories such as annual rating, total earnings, total wins, earnings average, and winning percentage. To recognize the MPO Rookie of the Year for 2022, their season was highlighted by an A-tier victory at the Lower Peninsula Open, a second place after a playoff finish at the Elite Series Des Moines Challenge. This player also has a pretty epic hat game. I'd like to recognize the 2022 PDGA Rookie of the Year, Robert Burridge.
Congratulations. I first met the 2022 FPO Rookie of the Year in the summer of 2019 at her first Junior World Disc Golf Championships in Emporia. She finished second. 2020 was a year without the Junior Worlds on account of COVID, and the next year, though, at the 2021 Junior Worlds, she came back with a vengeance and won the FJ15 title by 31 strokes. No surprise that she follows that up with an FPO Rookie of the Year award. She can't be with us tonight, but Aria Castorita is our FPO Rookie of the Year.
Sportsmanship is defined as fair and genuine behavior or treatment of other, especially in a sports contest. The Bob West Memorial Award for Sportsmanship is awarded annually to a PDGA member who exemplifies sportsmanship on the disc golf course and during competition, observes the rules of play, and wins or loses with grace. Candidates for the award are nominated by members of the PDGA. PDGA office lists the nominations received on the ballot to be voted on by elite pros, state, province, or county coordinators, country coordinators rather, the PDGA Major National Tour Event Directors, and the PDGA Board of Directors and staff.
I want to read a little bit about the nomination on this year's winner. I believe this nominee deserves this award due to her exemplary performance during events, the humility she shows consistently when interviewed about her performances, and the way she talks so positively about her fellow competitors. I could read on and on and on about this person. I actually first met her here in Vermont 5 years ago when we had the World Championship here, and I could tell right away that she was somebody that displayed a great deal of sportsmanship. She also was given a trophy at this tournament when it was held last year. Last year's FPO World Champion and the Bob West Award winner, Kristen Tatar.
The Jim Olson Senior Award is given to the Senior Player of the Year. The Senior Player of the Year is determined by a vote of PDGA Board of Directors. The recipient is an active PDGA member who is 50 years of age or older and has proven him or herself worthy of recognition based on stellar play and long-term contributions to the sport of disc golf. The 2022 recipient is, in several different divisions, a multi-time PDGA Major winner, including the 2022 Tim Selinsky U.S. Masters. A player with a sub-5-digit PDGA number, this individual's playing career dates to the early 1990s. I once asked her how to pronounce her name. She told me growing up in the Midwest, all of her family and friends called her Juliana, which is perfectly acceptable, but Juliana makes her feel fancy. You may already know, earlier this summer at Masters World, she was announced so that she could be recognized by her peers. So today, she is being re-announced so that she can be recognized by her peers' children. The PDGA Senior Player of the Year, Juliana Korver.
The PDGA professional class members competing in the mixed and women's open pro divisions are eligible for the Player of the Year award by earning points based on their place of finish in PDGA B tiers and above. Bonus points are earned. We'll go through all of that. You guys can read about that, but the Player of the Year this year for the MPO division earned Player of the Year points at 20 of the 27 events they played, including 7 wins, highlighted by Again, a championship last year, Paul Macbeth. Although not with us at this event because of injury, the FPO Player of the Year, 6 wins in all of the 26 events she played, including 2 major titles, the Champions Cup and the European Open, Paige Pierce. I also want to mention two additional awards. These were given out at the European Open, but we also have the PDGA European FPO Player of the Year in attendance. Congratulations, Kristen Tatar. And we have the PDGA European MPO Player of the Year, Nicholas Antala. Congratulations. Our next speaker actually played in the 2004 Professional Worlds in Des Moines. If you'll recall, some of you may or may not have been alive, but Barry Schultz won the MPO division, and Brigitte Lagerholm won the FPO division, and finishing tied for 122nd out of 154 players is our competition director, Jeff Jacquois.
Wow, ouch. So I have 5 hours of notes we're going to go over. Welcome, congratulations on being here and being able to participate in our premier event. Do have a couple competition notes we're going to go over just to make sure we're all on the same page and we are competing equally amongst all the groups, all the divisions, and all the players. Caddy. So part of your player's pack or your player's pack was a caddy bib. Your caddy must wear that caddy bib. If you lose your caddy bib, you lost your caddy. Sorry, guys. Reminder, the caddy is an extension of the player. So their actions are also your actions. When you checked in, you did get 2 player VIP badges. Those are to follow the player group only. Those are not seen as caddy badges. 30 seconds. We've had some questions about exactly when those 30 seconds start. 30 seconds starts once you have determined your lie and the throwing area is clear. If you are buried in the brush, we know it's going to take you a little bit longer to get down there and determine your lie and then see the relationship to the basket. So we're going to give you more time. The group gives you more time. That's all understandable. Bridges. There's some confusion on bridges. A bridge is an example of one playing surface vertically stacked above another. Each playing surface is treated independently. The rule of verticality is not a thing. Treat each surface separately, please. String. Only if the string is broken, damaged, can it be replaced. So unlike maybe some of the other events, we do not pull the string tight here, especially along some of those rock walls. So that's the rule on string. Course availability. Courses are closed while any competition on any course is active. So, please do not play any of the courses before 8 o'clock in the morning when the first tee time starts, or I'm sorry, after that. And then wait till that last putts on both courses to go out there and practice thereafter. Sorry, I lost my place. All right, before your tee time, please get there at least 2 minutes before your tee time. We know there's a proposed rule change to make that a little bit more. The starters really need to go over important notes that may or may not occur, especially with some of the thunderstorms that are coming through. So please be there at least 2 minutes early. That also makes sure that all the scoring duties are resolved during that time. When you are done playing, please, as a group, go to the scoring tent, which is right next to the autograph tent, and submit your scores as a group. If there are any issues within the group, we need to resolve them right then and there, not 20 minutes later after someone has already left the parking lot. So please submit your scores as a group, and if there's any issues, we need to interview all the players that are involved. Regarding how much work that's already been mentioned that Nick and his group has done, there is a lot of wood chips and a lot of hay that is out there. They're guessing 15 to 20 tons of wood chips. They have done a lot of work to try to resolve the rain that's out here. Please give them another hand for how much work they've done. So with that being said, there's still some muddy areas. They've done a lot. They're going to continue to do more right now. We have staff out there working on it. But we're doing what we can with the resources that they have. With that being said, for many of you that are practice out there, we have added some relief areas out on Brewster, clearly marked with orange paint. Brewster 6, Brewster 7, and Brewster 17 all have some relief areas in the mud. You do not have to take relief if you don't want to, but if you do take relief, it needs to be outside that relief area at the first available point. The relief areas are identified as orange string or orange paint. If the string is not there, then paint takes precedent. Fox Run, we have a Mando on hole 13. That is going to have a permanent spotter there to ensure if the disc did or did not penetrate that surface. That spotter has been designated as an official for this event and cannot be overruled by the group. Speaking of spotters, they typically have a better view of where the disc goes versus you guys that are 300, 400, 900 feet behind the tee pad. Please trust their judgments. And if you're going to overrule a spotter, there needs a really good evidence amongst the group as to why that's occurring. The spotters are there for a purpose. This is a major event. We've got everyone to check in. Congratulations. We have quite a few marshals here. You will notice marshals roaming the courses. This is to ensure that there is smooth play out there. If you see them and you have questions and you want to address a provisional right there, please use them. They're there to enforce overall rules of the play. Please feel free to flag them down if you need to. If there is a large gap between you and the group in front of you, they may follow you for a little bit to make sure everything's okay, or even ask you if you had a bad hole. It's nothing personal. They're just trying to figure out why we might have some gaps and if we do have some timing issues. Please don't be offended. It's my direction for them to do that. The good news is, in addition to having a well-seasoned TD running this event, 2 amazing assistant TDs, we have 8 marshals here on site to support this event. We will have a marshal at each starter tent, we will have a marshal at the scoring tent, we will have a marshal on the lead cards, and we'll have marshals roaming backwards. We're here to do as much as we can, but we cannot be everywhere at once. You're all certified officials. We need you guys to uphold the rules of the sport as well. We cannot be everywhere at every time. Ball golf does not have a marshal on every card. We need to step up our game and start to enforce the rules upon our own group and against the players. It's not personal. We're just following the rules of the sport. There are a lot of young, new individuals, new players that look up to you guys more than you will ever imagine. As a staff member who is able to support the collegiate events, AM Worlds, Junior Worlds, you have no idea how many of these younger generation people are trying to mimic you. They look up to you as their shining star. So set that example and set the stage to make our sport as professional as possible. This is our pinnacle event. With that being said, good luck, represent the sport, play smart, and respect the course. Congratulations on being able to play the 2023 Pro Worlds.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Next up, I'm going to bring up Nick Hover. I just want to extend my personal thanks for doing a great job with the disc golf program and the whole team here, as Bill mentioned. So give it up for Nick.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Smugs again. My name is Nick. I'm the director of disc golf here at Smuggler's Notch Resort. I wanted to say again, thank you to Dick for joining us this evening. I came here as a snowboard bum as well, so I can relate to enjoying one sport and finding yourself in another. So just a few quick thank yous. Again, I'm going to try and keep this brief, but I have to throw a few shout outs to Rusty, Scott, Seth, Hunter, Dave, and Braden, our head groundskeeper, and our other groundskeepers. Those guys did a fantastic job over the last month. We've been pushing it as hard as we can to make these courses as beautiful as possible, and we hope that you enjoy those courses as much as we do. So we also have our mowing staff, Larry and Dylan, Aiden Trombley, our pro shop manager, who's been doing a fantastic job over there, all of our pro shop staff, Ryan, Maureen, Cole, Todd, our shuttle transport and ground support, Paul and Jan, and then also our Fall Fest coordinator, Lucas Tilton. They've been putting together the best show possible, and let's just give them a quick round of applause. They definitely deserve it. Great. So I get the fun part of speaking about parking and shuttling. So let's start out with parking. So all player parking has unfortunately been moved to Lot 1 due to muddy conditions on the Bootleggers Field. Those of you who have already been stuck in Bootleggers Field and I have towed out, we've already met each other. So the reason for that is, again, just we've had more rainfall in Vermont than we've seen in years past. So we have located all player parking to Lot 1. Lot 1 is if you're heading up the mountain, heading south on 108. It's at the top of the hill on your left. It is very clearly marked with signage. It's about 1.5 miles from the main resort entrance. It's about a 3-mile drive. Or a 3-minute drive, excuse me. So if you have purchased an overnight camping pass, you are permitted to stay at Bootleggers Field, provided that you are camped in the field and that you don't move your camped vehicle. If you do happen to leave Bootleggers, we politely ask that you relocate back to Lot 1. The reason for that, we just want to prevent in and out traffic, which is going to cause more mud and cause more people to get stuck. So please help us fit as many cars into Lot 1 as possible. There are double rows between the concrete barriers. Please park in parallel to the direction that you would drive in and out. There will be parking staff there to assist you. We will have lots of vehicles, lots of people coming to see you guys play. So please just do your best to assist us with that. Also, please do not park in the outer lanes surrounding the lot. This is our tractor trailer turnaround area. It's essential that tractor trailers that decide to try and drive up through the notch have a place to be able to turn around and not get stuck in Smuggler's Notch, so which causes a headache for all of us. So, no daily parking will be available at either Bootleggers Basin or Tournament Central. And again, please park in Lot 1. Edwards Road, which is the road that the Disc Golf Center is located on, will be closed from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. That is so that we can move spectators down that road. There will be a one-lane direction of travel on that road for those hours. So to access that road, you're going to enter from the end of Edwards Road closest to Martell's. So that is the northern entrance, and there will be one-way access from that location. So that brings me to shuttling. So shuttles will be available to bring you to and from player parking at Lot 1 to the warm-up area at Bootleggers and to Tournament Central. Dedicated shuttle service runs from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. daily, and shuttles are also available on demand. You can dial 7000 from any resort phone number if you're staying on the resort in the condos, or also if you're at any of our service phones here on the resort, dial 7000. If you are on your cell phone, the phone number is 802-644-1010 to request service. So we do recommend that you arrive in Lot 1 15 minutes before your desired arrival time at either the practice area or at Tournament Central. We'll have a minimum of 2 shuttles rotating at all times to make sure that we are able to move you guys as efficiently as possible. We do understand that tee times are important. We want to get you there on time. We will be doing our best to move you as quickly and efficiently as possible. That being said, for those guests staying in our condos here at Smugs, we recommend calling the on-demand shuttle service at least 20 minutes prior to your desired arrival time, again, to give them time to get to your condo, pick you up, bring you to the welcome sign where you will transfer to one of our tournament shuttles. So you may also choose to have somebody drop you off. So please head down, follow 108 down the hill towards Jeffersonville to the northern entrance of Edwards Road. Again, that is right at Martell's. If you guys have been to Martell's, fantastic place to eat. Also, course sponsors, so make sure to support them. So you're going to turn right and follow the main road through to the road closure gate. Please make sure to have your credentials with you so that we can check to make sure that you're a player. And then proceed all the way down the one lane to drop off at either Bootleggers or Tournament Central. Please drive with caution. Spectators will also be occupying that road. We'll have a divider. We'll have some cones out. But just please be aware that there will be a lot of spectators out here to see you guys. And again, please just remember there is no parking allowed anywhere on Edwards Road for Wednesday through Sunday. In the event of inclement weather, we do have a horn system here at the resort. If you hear the klaxon go off over here on the main resort, we will also have air horns on the courses. If you hear an air horn, that means that we have inclement weather on the way. So please seek shelter as quickly as possible. Come back to Tournament Central. We will have shuttles available to move you quickly and efficiently back to this location right here in the meeting house. So that way, once we do have the all clear, we can load you back onto shuttles again quickly and easily, get you back out and continuing play as quickly as possible. That is about all I have. Just one quick note, tonight's entertainment, Jam and Sam will be playing live just over at Bootleggers Bar. It's in the next building next to us, and he would love to see you from 9 to 11 p.m. Good luck, everybody out there. Please, if you have any questions, come find me. I'm usually very friendly and would love to see you guys out there. I appreciate it, and good luck.
Thank you, Nick. I'm usually very friendly as well. Next up, I want to... Oh, this was going to be something Nick talked about, but that's okay. We're going to keep it going. I want to give a big shout out and thanks to Sean Jack for his great work with partners and bring him up to thank some of them. And Sean Mercy is also assistant tournament director. So how about a big round of applause for Sean?
Thanks, Jeff. What's up, everyone? Obviously, I'm here to thank our sponsors of the tournament. We have more than 50 this year. I'm not going to name all of them. I'm going to name mostly the big ticket items. But on behalf of the entire disc golf community, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to each of the sponsors for their unwavering support of the 2023 PDGA Professional Disc Golf World Championships presented by L.L.Bean. I want to talk real quick about L.L.Bean. This deal took us over 5 years to close. It actually goes back to the 90s, not to date and tell you how old I am. I used to work at a brew pub in Harvard Square in Cambridge, and this other guy named Chuck Gannon friended my cousin who also worked there, and Chuck rose to the ranks at this company right here and became the director of brand performance. And 5 years ago, my cousin said L.L.Bean should sponsor disc golf, and quite frankly, the sport was probably missing a zero with our viewership, but we got it. And I'm just really proud, a company, 100-year-old plus company that makes a lot of products that our audience and people in this room can purchase. It's just such a good fit. So whatever you guys can do, I'm looking at millions of followers in this room combined, to tell your audience to go to their site this weekend and buy some stuff. And also, if they could, hashtag be an outsider. It's only going to help us. If we buy their products, they're going to give us more money, so we can give you more money. It's a beautiful vicious circle. So I want to thank L.L.Bean. I want to thank Discraft, Latitude 64 for managing our volunteer program. Where's Seth Fenley? Is he here somewhere? Thank you, Seth. I want to thank ThoughtSpace Athletics, Lone Star Disc, Canna, MVP Disc Sports, Squatch for providing the official bag of the 2023 World Championships, Dunkin', who I'm super psyched about because I'm from Massachusetts, a group in a town with over 10 Dunkins. They're the official energy drink. The Vermont Department of Tourism and Marketing, Fiddlehead, the official craft beer of the PDGA World Championships and the host of Fiddlehead's Fall Fest, 1010 Disc, Noqua Adventure Gear, Innova Champion Disc, Infinite Disc, and the Disc Store. Big round of applause for all our sponsors, please. Lastly, the folks out in the back, I want to thank Mountain Grove Coffee for supplying the coffee tonight, so thank you. The generation and dedication have elevated the event to unprecedented heights. With the sponsors' partnership, we've united athletes and fans from around the globe to celebrate the spirit of competition and sportsmanship. Their contributions have not only shaped this championship, but have also fortified the growth of disc golf worldwide. As we gather to witness the journey of these athletes, let us remember that their commitment has made it all possible. Thank you for standing with us, for championing excellence, and for embracing the vibrant community that disc golf represents. Here's to the success of the championship and that enduring legacy we create together. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. What a tremendous performance, not just for this event, but for the Disc Golf Pro Tour and helping professionalize and move our sport forward in a lot of different ways. Big round of applause one more time for Sean Jack, Assistant TD of Worlds this year. I only have a few brief closing remarks. One is just a note about the marked areas on 6 and 7 and 17, marked with orange. They're casual areas, so there's casual relief. There is one relief area that's on 11 of Fox Run. Just restating that to make sure that that's clear, that those are casual areas. I just want to end with a couple thank yous. We've thanked the resort team, and Bill, but one more big round of applause for Smuggler's Notch. It's incredible that these courses are ranked so highly. If you look at the UDIS rankings, they're both in the top 10 in the world, number 4 and 7, which is just, it blows me away. I want to thank the DGPT staff who've been working really hard on this event. And I want to thank the PDGA. We're two organizations that have come together and continue to learn, grow, and collaborate together in a really meaningful way. And I think that we're hoping that this event is just the start of bigger, better collaborations that bring the sport to the next level. And so, big round of applause for the DGPT, PDGA, and that collaboration. We've actually got some gold VIPs here right now. We have a new program that's special for just about 40 people that are gold and silver VIPs. Their support and interest in being here a week long, they have helped fuel some of the funding of this event. So some of them are here. We're going to meet at the Hearth and Candle for an orientation after this. But thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. And thanks for being here at the opening ceremony. I just want to plug Fall Fest to all the players. We're going to send you a code that you can use if you haven't gotten tickets yet. You get a very special discount to Fall Fest, and I'll send you a code in an email. But please come on out. It's Friday and Saturday. We do have live music Wednesday and Thursday for free right at the resort. Right at the Disc Golf Center with the Fly Marts and Glow Disc Golf that we have lined up. And my last thank you is to the volunteers. We mentioned that Seth is leading the volunteer management with Chris Young of DGVT, but we've got over 200 individuals that will be volunteering. And I really implore all the players to take a minute to thank volunteers when they're helping you out there, whether it's spotting or just live scoring. And be patient if you're frustrated with them, and be overly grateful for their time and energy and dedication. So thank you to the volunteers that are helping make this event go. All right, in closing, I find this personally to be a special place, and, we welcome this entire community in. We implore you to enjoy nature, enjoy the mountain, be kind to each other. This is a big moment for a lot of people, so be in the moment, and good luck in the competition. And with that, we're ready. Let's go.